Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are live at the World of Wellness, your community wellness center. So we are live at the Wina Wellness Week, the Wellness Weekend. We've been doing the Wellness Weeks now for what, 30 years almost?
115, right?
115 years. Well, I think Joe's been in every one of them. We do, thank God, we do 5 a year. So we've been doing the Wellness Weeks for, God, the last 25 years since I was a rep for a supplement company, and Doc was down on the south side. So I'm excited today to host the noon presentation and interview with a very special guest. She is our chiropractor and doctor of the Wellness Center, Dr. Molly Patch. How are we doing today, Doc?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Jamie.
The exciting thing is you've taken the baton and the torch has been passed. And, the reason we're so excited is that you are a culmination of all the different therapies we've done over the years, right?
That's it.
So we've done chiropractic, we've done applied kinesiology, we've done nutrition, we've done the one-on-one nutraceutical work. And you do all those things, plus one of my favorites is the myofascial release and the trigger point therapy. So can you give us a little background? How did you get into chiropractic?
It's a great story. I knew that I always wanted to do something in the medical field. I was always fascinated by anatomy, physiology. To me, it always answered the why. Why do we feel the way we do? Why do these things happen? Why do our bodies respond the way that they do in certain situations? And I knew that I wanted something that I could play off of that in my everyday life. And it wasn't until I was going through softball, and I actually had a softball injury.
Oh, yeah.
It was my dream to play softball in college, and as soon as I got there, it was my freshman year. Fall ball was a little bit of like the tryout period, right? You wanted to make sure you got your spot on the team. And I was a shortstop, right? And I couldn't throw to first base. Didn't really have an injury, but I couldn't figure out why all of a sudden, after all these years of training, I couldn't throw to first base anymore. I had no strength in my arm. I had this weird numbness, tingling going down my arm. And what was going on? My dad suggested that I go to the chiropractor and see if they could help me. I figured, what do I have to lose, right? I want to see this through. I want to play. I was amazed at how they worked the issue out of me. My arm was stronger than ever, it was more accurate, and I never had that issue come up again. And that moment always stuck with me, and I wanted to be able to give that back to other people.
So it's amazing. I love the personal story. So many doctors of chiropractic, it's actually a second career.
That's
Right,
true.
where they've had some type of accident or injury. I know Dr. Weiner went to Life University later on, like approaching 40. So you actually had this experience younger. But usually a personal experience is what attracts a lot of doctors to this profession, this career, because you realize, wow, I got such great results, right? And I want to be able to share this with the world. So, having that experience led you to chiropractic school, and where'd you go?
I went to New York Chiropractic College in upstate New York.
And not, some chiropractors just do what I call the snap, crackle, and pop. It's all about the adjustment, right? Which we feel is very important. But how did you become exposed to the muscle therapy, the trigger point? Because to me, that is the art of chiropractic when you combine the musculoskeletal together.
I couldn't agree more. I sort of always knew that we had to connect everything together, right? Whenever we were learning everything in chiropractic school, we didn't just learn adjusting, right? We learned all about the anatomy, we learned about the muscles, we learned about the nerves, all the attachment points. Figured if we're learning this, I should be incorporating it in my treatment, right? And as I was going through, I always knew that I felt better when I had those things worked on, and I wanted to give that to my patients too and be as thorough as I could.
Oh, that's fantastic. My experience with chiropractic work has always included muscle therapy. And I've been around chiropractic so long, but I remember growing up in the 70s and 80s, and chiropractic was more specific for accidents and injuries to the neck and back. Can you expand on that to some of the other types of conditions people are suffering with that you can help them? For me, when I came in, my neck was so locked up from traveling, being on planes, sleeping in hotels. And, you're able to really unlock that. So I have full external rotation, and the pain's gone. So that's been excellent experience working with you on that. So what are some of the other conditions other than the traditional neck and back injuries that you've worked on and help people with?
Right. So that is kind of the chiropractic bread and butter, right?
Yes.
I mean, we do that. We do it really well. But again, there's more to the body than that. So we want to make sure that we're incorporating that.
Yeah, because one of the reasons I bring that up is if someone doesn't have a neck or back injury, they don't think they need you.
Right. There's always something we can do. We're using our body every day, so we want to make sure that we're helping our muscles to recover. So we help people either if you're going through training, working through marathons, things like that. Can we help keep you moving as well as we can? If you have a desk job, are we sitting too much? Can we help you work through that as well? But there's also some different conditions where people might feel lost. They say, I've tried everything. I can't get the results I'm looking for. I want a better quality of life. I just want to feel better. Conditions that come to mind are those like fibromyalgia, nerve pain, right, neuropathy, things like that. They've tried so many things. Can we do some trigger point therapy to work on how the brain is connected with itself, right, to increase those connections in the body to help calm the nervous system down? We have a lot of great results with things like that as well.
Let's talk a little bit more about fibromyalgia because
Sure.
oftentimes that comes out of nowhere for people, right? They don't really understand the mechanisms of action. Why did this occur, right?
Yes.
It could be a magnesium and malic acid deficiency, right? That's often when we bring in something like power fuel. So what's
My favorite.
Oh, well, let's hear about it. So what's the chiropractic approach to something like fibromyalgia where they're given no hope?
Right.
If they go to the modern medical doctor, they're not given any hope. They give them a lot of pain medications, maybe start with NSAIDs and go into some of the more stronger type medications. So what's your approach chiropractically with the power fuel? How do you combine those two?
First, whenever I have a patient coming into me with fibromyalgia, things like that, I just want to listen. They're going through so much, and whenever they're given that diagnosis, often they're stamped with that, thrown out the door, right? They're said there's nothing we can do. And there's always something we can do, right? We can look at nutrition a little bit. Can we fill in those gaps? Can we see what led to this in the first place? Are there things that we're going through in our day-to-day that we need to change? Is it a little bit more of a stress response? Can we help support that? I know we've talked about that a lot this weekend, right? Can we help connect you to things that can help you work through those things better? A lot of times trauma is one of the things, both physical, mental, emotional, that can really bring on fibromyalgia. So can we connect you to someone that can help you with that while we take care of the musculoskeletal? Addressing both components gives us the best results.
Yeah, and I love how you approach it with not only the adjustment, the muscle work, listening actually to the patient, right, doing the full history, and then using the nutritional support. People don't realize muscles, they need minerals. It's one of the most efficient nutrients out there. Calcium will help muscles contract, but
Yes.
magnesium, the number one nutrient deficiency in the world is magnesium. Over 300 biochemical processes require magnesium,
Yes.
and it's so deficient. But magnesium will actually help the muscle relax. So if you have tight, tense muscles, you got restless legs at night, fibromyalgia, headaches, so many different things are tied into low magnesium levels. Something as simple as that can help. It's also utilized very well for blood pressure because the heart's a muscle. And if it's not
Absolutely.
beating and contracting and relaxing properly, one of the first things, doc for years would recommend magnesium, and that's in the power fuel, right?
Yes.
And malic acid and things like that. So how would you recommend someone take something like power fuel?
Power fuel, I will say that is, if you've worked with me, we've also probably talked about power fuel. It is one of the things that I recommend the most to patients of all kinds. But one of the best things that it does is it has all the electrolytes that we need, right? So we want to make sure that we're being hydrated, but it's more than just getting the water into our body, right? Can we get the water from in ourselves to into the cells so that the body can use it? That's where power fuel comes in. But there's also great components that help with cellular energy in there. So again, whenever we go through these chronic conditions, they can be depleting on the system. Can we help give your system a little bit of an energy boost? Help with that magnesium as well, get that lactic acid out of the muscles, help calm those down. We want to help create as much of a calm environment in the body for these chronic conditions because the body is stressed, it's taxed, it's overworked, right? We need to help relax it, calm it down.
Yeah, and I love the Power Fuel because it's probably about six different products in one. You have the electrolyte blend, you have the circulation factors, right? You have the ATP producers in there, things like CoQ10 and DMG. You also have D-ribose, which is a great sugar. Your body actually does not affect blood sugar, but your body utilizes it for ATP production right away inside the cell. So great for calming, rebuilding, circulation, and then the electrolyte blend, which we added a few years ago,
Yes.
will help drive the fluid inside the cell. Can you expand a little bit on that? Because I'm looking at the InBody, which does intra and extracellular hydration
Yes.
testing. And I think oftentimes people say to me, well, I drink a lot of water. Can you elaborate a little bit more on, well, if they're drinking water versus is it getting inside the cell?
cells,
What is the
yes.
difference and what impacts that?
Wonderful. So the InBody scan can tell us, again, what you said, the intracellular water versus the extracellular water. So whenever we drink water, right, goes into the stomach, works for everything, goes immediately to the bloodstream, right? So can it go from the bloodstream into the cells that are dehydrated? That's where the electrolytes come into play. They have different charges in them that can open up the different layers around the cells to make sure they actually get into the muscle tissue, the heart tissue, right? Everything that we need it to. Even our brain, like we have to stay hydrated or we get brain fog. So I love using the InBody because it can see how much weight there is of water in our body, but it can tell us based on how
Where
fast
the
things
water
are
is?
circulating, yes, where that is. So we can see if
Yeah,
you're
it's
drinking enough,
interesting.
if you're hydrated.
I had a patient come in years ago and she had a lot of extracellular fluid, edema, right? And to where her ankles and legs were really swelling up, really poor circulation. So what, I'm hearing Dr. Bob Rakowski, another chiropractor and diplomat and chiropractic. I heard him years ago say in a seminar, the body's solution to pollution is dilution. The fluid's going outside the cell because the body's so toxic.
Yes.
What exactly is happening in that scenario? Why is all that fluid going outside the cell?
Again, this can be multiple factors, but if the body is so stressed and overworked, it's going to prioritize energy needs and want to be as simple as it can, right? So it's not going to work through those processes as efficiently as it can. So we want to help give the body those proper environments so that these things can happen easily, less energy as possible, right? And work through that. That's also why I love the Power Fuel, and I recommend that patients take it at least once a day, right? If we need a little bit more, we can start with more of that, but we take it in the morning, or we can take it in the afternoon if we need a little bit of that energy boost, right? Instead of reaching for that 3 p.m. coffee, let's take some Power Fuel. Let's
love
work
the
through
Power
that.
Fuel even for muscle soreness. Maybe I'm shoveling snow and I'm using muscles I don't use normally, right? 'Cause you get
Yes.
in the routine of your workouts and stuff, or you just do something different in your muscle. So when I'm having that muscle soreness, I'll do 1 or 2 scoops of Power Fuel. I'm thinking like when I get the garden going in the spring, and
That's
I'm like,
it.
wow, I'm not usually this sore in these spots because you're using different muscle groups. So you can use Power Fuel acutely. Do 1 or 2 scoops,
Absolutely.
and that will help with relieving any of that muscle soreness that's happening.
Especially before it turns into a bigger issue,
Yes.
right? So we don't want it to turn into something chronic or that we're hurting so much in those muscles they're not recovering that then we do a little something out of the ordinary and now we have an injury we have to work through.
The number one question I get all the time is weight loss and diet, right? People, what diet do I follow? When they brought out the high fructose corn syrup, growing up, fats became like the 4-letter word, right? No fat, no fat. And what happened in our country? It doubled in size, literally, right? Insulin resistance, diabetes type 2, even type 1, now type 3 have gone through the roof. And I feel it's a lot because of the high fructose corn syrup and the overconsumption of sugar and artificial sweeteners. So basically what happened was, hey, fats are bad. That's why people get fat. And there was a doctor, a medical doctor up in New York where I grew up, Dr. Robert Atkins, and his research was phenomenal. Now, they took his program and took it too far, I think. But the whole concept was you don't get fat from fat. You get fat from elevated insulin.
Yes.
And insulin's going to elevate when you consume sugar. So what I tell people is control your consumption of sugar.
Yes.
Choose your fats wisely, right? So more the modern modified Mediterranean diet. So what's your philosophy overall on nutrition? And I want to get specific for certain people.
For certain people. That's it. It's about finding what that person needs in front of us. We all have a little bit of different needs, right? So we have great guidelines to follow, but that's why we listen to you and your appointments here as well. We want to make sure we pinpoint what you need.
What are some of the general guidelines that apply to everybody?
To everybody, though, definitely we want to make sure we're prioritizing protein. So if we're not getting enough protein in, it's hard to process that sugar, right? I mean, we naturally have some sugar in our diet. We do need some of that. The brain runs on sugar, so we do need some of that healthy sugars.
You're a certified nutritionist and a doctor, so when you say protein, I know what you mean.
Yes.
Right? So I have some favorite proteins that I feel people should eat. Organic eggs is one.
Nature's multivitamin.
Oh, is it? Nice. What are some of your favorite complete protein sources?
Well, you mentioned my favorite, the eggs, definitely. As I said, they're nature's multivitamin, but I love just keeping it simple, right? So we just want to make sure we're eating lean, good cuts of meat. So chicken, beef is actually really great too. Steak, there's a lot of micronutrients in that, things like that. So we just want to keep it simple, but make sure we're getting enough of that. Different types of fish are great. They have those omega-3 fatty acids. Back to your comment on the fat, like we need that to myelinate, to wrap around the nerves, right? That helps nerves to work faster in our body so we can move faster, we can think faster. That's why it's important, and babies need a lot of that too whenever they're growing because we're trying to work through those nerves. But yes, protein, we want to keep it simple. Just make sure that we're prioritizing
Good.
that on
So
our
I
plate.
love it. I love organic eggs, right? Because what you eats determines the quality of the food.
Yes.
Right? So that's why when we say grass-fed beef, if you eat meat, because when the cow eats the grass, the quality of the meat, the omega-3s is much higher. When they're eating corn and injected with hormones, the meat is much larger, but a lot unhealthier, right? So choose your food wisely. Same with fish. I remember years ago, it said farm raised. Oh, it must be great. No, they're fed soy and corn, so it fattens them up with omega-6s. Like, wait a minute, I'm eating fish for the omega-3s.
Yes.
So choose your foods wisely. Organic eggs, always organic. Chicken, always organic. Turkey, the same way. And then beef has to be grass-fed and organic whenever possible. And then I love the protein supplements. I start every day with a shake. I'm a lifetime member of the Shake a Day Club.
That's it.
So I hear Dr. Weiner in my head because he's saying, what about vegetarians, right? And I use Super Shake. I'm not a vegetarian, but doesn't mean I can't eat vegan products. So I love Super Shake because we have peanut butter, and there's only 3 ingredients in there. Is the vegan protein, MCT which is the good healthy fats, and fiber. So I like a protein shake every day. I combine the Super Shake with the greens. That's my breakfast, and you can live on those, folks. There are nutrients in there you can't find in food. So I love to start my day with that because it gets the metabolic rate going in my favor. Simplified, that means my body's going to burn fat, not store fat.
Yes.
So energy's high, cravings are eliminated, right? I'm feeling really good, and your body is able to burn fat as a fuel source.
Right.
Rather than store fat, which is a metabolic shift we want to occur. So after protein, what's your next piece of advice on diet overall?
We already talked about this, but making sure we're staying hydrated, right?
Yes.
If we're not staying hydrated, we're not going to be able to digest our food. Our body's going to take that from our gut, right? And that's when everything gets backed up. So we want to make sure that we're staying hydrated. But we want to eat some variety too. We want to make sure we're eating a little bit of everything, so put some color on that plate. Make sure fruits and veggies are great, but eat a variety. They all have a little bit of different things, so the more we can mix that up, the more good stuff we get in our body.
Yeah, I did this experiment with one of my doctors in Florida, Dr. Ed Lee, medical doctor, endocrinologist, and he went to University of Pittsburgh for his residency. And he says, I want you to do this with your clients and patients. He says, we have access to 400 or more foods. He goes, I bet you don't eat more than 20. And I wrote it down for a week, and it was like 16 different things, right?
Right.
It's like my shakes, eggs, chicken, broccoli, sweet potatoes. It was like, it wasn't maybe that many.
It's at least good stuff on
yes,
the list.
Very good. I'm a creature of habit, but he says, do you like spinach? I said, yeah, but I don't cook it at home. Like, it's just something I get when I go out. He says, you got to have variety. So a good, colorful diet, right? So you want the carbohydrates from mostly fibrous foods,
Yes.
and whole carbs. I love sweet potatoes. I think people get in this whole rap about carbs. Carbs are no good. Well, they're energy. So if you don't burn it, what do?
Right.
You store it.
You
Yeah.
store it.
So think of carbs as energy. And, one of the things I learned from my trainer years ago, he says, eat for what you're going to do, not for what you did. He says, you
That's a
need to
great tip.
recover after the meal, but think of, don't eat a big meal later at night because you're not going to burn it off. So I love it. Hydration, talked about good protein. What about good fats? I heard about myelin sheath and the protection. Talk
Yes.
about fats because fats are essential. That's what I call the essential fatty acids. Your brain is what, 70, 80% fat, right? So tell us a little more about healthy fats and the importance.
That's a great question. So we were talking about, yes, that goes all back to the brain health. So we want to make sure that we have enough in our body. We can keep everything flowing up there too. So we love to make sure that we're incorporating a little bit of that in each meal. If we don't, digestion actually slows down. So we do need a little bit of fat that helps us to then absorb
So
all the
give
nutrients.
us some good fats. Obviously, fish oil.
Fish oils are great. So we have some great products here like omega-3D. We want to make sure, again, we're getting that good quality, not just fish oil, but are we actually getting the omega-3s out of that?
Yeah, hold on. I got to comment on this, okay?
Okay.
Because one of my best friends, I told him to buy fish oil, ours, of course. He goes to Costco. Yes. He said, I got the Omega 1000, and his famous last words, like my dad, I didn't want to bother you. I says, you're bothering me now. I said, let's spin that bottle around. It's 1,000 milligrams of oil, but the EPA and DHA, write this down, folks, EPA and DHA is the concentration of oils. At Costco, they're 25%. I said, just like in high school, when you got a 25 on your test, you get left back. It's not even failing, left back. So our fish oil, the Omega 3D, is over 90% EPA and DHA. So it's super concentrated and is going to give you the best results. So make sure you're not buying your supplements from the mass market, right?
Yes.
Buyer beware. You can call the office here at 412-922-WELL, 412-922-9355. You can go to our website, wowpgh.com, or you can come in live to the store. You do not need to be a patient. 2419 Baldwick Road, right in Pittsburgh, PA. So we're really easy to find, and we have a variety of nutritional frontiers and all the top brands here. So I love it. We got the fish oil, right? Good fats. What are some other sources of good fats?
So we want to make sure that we're cooking with good fats too. So
Uh-oh.
I think you know what I'm going to say. We want to make sure we're using good quality olive oil. That's one of the best things that we can do. Avocado oil is really good too, mixing that up. But again, we want to make sure good quality that we're cooking with. Use that over our salad dressings too, all of that good stuff. Again, it's all about quality, right? We want to make sure, we want to give ourselves the best, right? We deserve to fill ourselves up with the best that we can, so.
Yeah, I bought some extra virgin olive oil recently. I was told it has to be in a glass bottle. Quite pricey, right? But then I was like, oh, should I be concerned with the investment of what I'm putting in my body or my shoes, right? Stuff like that. So I always tell people, if you're bargain shopping, do that for your clothes or your car. Don't do it with your food or your supplements. That's not what you want to do because, Dr. Weiner, he's still in my head after all these years. He used to say you can build your house like the three little pigs, right? And same with your body, out of mud, straw, or bricks. The choice is yours, right? So these essential fatty acids, so fish oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, these are all ways to get healthy fats in your body because every cell in your body is made of fat.
That's it.
I mean, you went through a lot more schooling than I did, but I remember back in 7th grade, we drew the cell and the cell membrane. I find that all these years later in JAMA, they talk about that cell membrane needs to be about 10% omega-3s. And when it is, you ready, folks, you reduce your risk of cardiac arrest by 90%. That's straight out of Journal of American Medical Association, 1995. I don't even know if you were
profound,
born.
that
I don't even know if you were born yet. Yeah, quite a few years ago. So you got to incorporate good fats. I love natural nut butters, almond butter, coconut milk. These are all ways I can get it in there. So we got the protein, we got the fats. Let's talk fiber because when we talk fiber, we're talking carbs, but fiber is carbs. So what are some of the easiest ways to increase your fiber every day?
So we do have some products with fiber. So if we
Yes.
want to come in and make sure we're getting enough support with that too. But again, it's about variety in the diet. So can we eat some more beans, legumes, those healthy kind of grains, quinoa, things like that? Those have healthy amounts of fiber in them, again, to help keep things moving, right?
Yeah.
If we're not digesting our food well, everything kind of goes
It's really
and
cool.
follows
This
that line.
this national nutritionist, Brenda Watson, she has a diet called Fiber 35.
Okay.
And she guarantees if you eat 35 grams of fiber per day in a balanced diet, you will reduce your risk of any chronic illness by over 90%.
I
And
believe
because
it.
you're eating the fruits and the veggies and the beans and the legumes and all these things, plus we have supplementation, you can do it. All of our shakes have some fiber in them. What are some of the standalones you think that you like Frontier Fiber?
That's my go-to.
Yeah.
So yes, especially if we're kind of depleted for a while, we want to start with that.
Yeah.
Kind of get things while we're balancing out our diet itself. Can we help jumpstart that with getting a good healthy dose of that?
The great thing with the Frontier Fiber, you can mix it in any hot or cold food or beverage. It's tasteless, odorless, gritless, and mixes well with anything. So you could theoretically put it into a soda, right? You can put it into anything. So it's a nice way to put in your shake, right? Some people put it in their food. Some people just drink it as a standalone. So easy way, very inexpensive to increase your fiber every day. So that's going to bind to toxins and cholesterol, and it's going to help slow down digestion so your body can absorb the nutrients,
Right.
keep the colon and the bowels cleansed, and also give you more satiety, make you feel full. One of the
good.
challenges when they went to no fats is people consume more high fructose corn syrup, and that doesn't need to be digested. It goes right to the bloodstream. So when you're drinking Coca-Cola or you're eating those types of candy products, all this processed junk, there's no digestion process that occurs. So blood sugar will spike rapidly. Fiber is something that can slow that down. What's a good strategy during the holidays that you recommend? Because this is where everyone's laughing now. Yeah.
I hear some pens clicking. We're gonna take some notes.
My buddy, pretty much at Halloween, he says, I'm done till New Year's. I go, what about the Super Bowl? He goes, well, the Monday after the Super Bowl. I go, that's 3 months of the year. You've thrown the towel in. He says, what do you do? So one of the things I do is I realize that the holidays are only a handful of days. And even during those days, I used to, for Thanksgiving, I wouldn't eat all morning. Then I'd eat so much. So now what I do is I always walk or work out first thing in the morning.
I love
And I
that.
do at least 1 or 2 shakes before I do the bigger meal. So for me, getting active in the morning and doing a shake so I'm not starving when we go to eat. What's something you recommend?
That's actually what I was gonna say. I love taking the ultimate shake, right? That's basically like taking a protein shake and a multivitamin all in one. So if we can start out that day with protein, it helps to balance our blood sugar for the rest of the day, so we won't be struggling as much with those cravings, right? It'll be a little bit easier to maybe only have one of those sugar cookies, not 2 or 3 or however many. But if we start out with that, it kind of sets the tone for the right day.
I love
We get
it.
all the micronutrients and the macronutrients that we need in that one serving. So
Yeah, it's a great idea. Dr. Bob Rakowski says you got to do 2 things. One is you got to earn your cheat. He said, so you got to move that morning, right? Walk, run, ride a bike. Even if you can't go out because of the weather, get on your phone, get on the computer. Exercise for beginners, yoga for beginners, stretching class, no weight workout. There's all types of ways to be able to do something. I tell you what, some of these are a little more challenging than you think, but they're a lot of fun. So one is earn your cheat. Number 2 is buffer the cheat. So you mentioned sugar cookies. I like
tis
the-
the season, right?
I like
Everyone's
the
gonna be
rainbow
making Christmas
cookies, yeah.
cookies. So
We had our party for work the other night. So what I do, I took extra Probzyme before the meal, and I took 4 glucolyze to help process a little bit extra food I was going to eat for that. So I love it, right? Earn the cheat and then buffer the cheat. And it's okay to go for a walk even when it's cold out. We got our first snow this week, which I love. So I called Joe in the morning like I always do, and he says, where are you? At home? I says, I'm at the park. He goes, did they plow already? I says, no. He says, well, how are you walking? I says, it's a little extra in intensity. It makes
Yes.
it, the pace is a little bit slower. I had my winter boots on, and I walked for about an hour and 15 minutes. It was absolutely gorgeous out.
I bet.
So sometimes I think we forget in this very noisy and chaotic world, nature can be absolutely gorgeous. Even if it's cold, bundle up, get the hat, get the gloves, the boots on, whatever you need. But get outside and get some fresh air and
Just
get
gonna
some
say.
action going, get some activity going because that is probably, they say muscle is medicine now.
And I was just gonna say, movement is medicine
Yeah.
too, and fresh air can do wonders. So don't ever. We always have to keep things simple, right? We kind of live in this world. It's go, go, go. We want to just keep going, but we make things a little too complicated on ourselves. Sometimes we have to just step back and keep it simple. Just stay moving, eat well, stay hydrated. It's really profound.
So, just want to let everyone know I'm Jamie Dorley. We're here at the World of Wellness. I got Dr. Molly Patch here, incredible chiropractor, nutritionist, AK specialist, and just really a very warm and genuine person. You'll know right away when your first couple of minutes you meet her that you're in good hands, and she has your best interests at heart. And she helps people with so many different things. She's my chiropractor now. I'm due for an adjustment.
We'll take care of that.
Yes, and she works with my kids and our staff at World of Wellness and Nutritional Frontiers. And are you accepting new patients?
Always. Always have a spot for you here at the World of Wellness. So we have a lot of great tools here. So we'll find something that works for you. And that's why I love working here again, that we really get to know our patients and know their needs, not just their short-term goals, but their long-term goals too. So we kind of come in and work on whatever you need, but there's always things we can do to just help you feel better in the long run.
Yeah, so all you got to do is call the office, 412-922-WELL, 412-922-9355, and you get her on her schedule. She's here at least 3 days per week. And the thing I love about the doctor, not only Dr. Molly, but other doctors we've had here, is they actually take their time with you. Can you share with everyone out there, because some people, they're still a little nervous about coming into a chiropractic appointment. They're used to their quote-unquote regular doctor. And I always say, if you're not getting the results you want, you need to try something different.
That's it.
Because Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So if you're not getting healthy, some of the simpler things, or what I see is the most common things you see, maybe someone has osteoarthritis, they're up for a knee replacement, or they've torn an ACL when they were younger, and their range of motion isn't really where it needs to be. Maybe they're favoring one side or another. What's the process when someone comes into the office? What's it look like on that first appointment? And I know some of your colleagues out there, they'll sign people up for like a year and a half, 3 times a week. And I'm like, they go, do you do that? I says, no, because we don't know if it takes one visit, 5 or 15, or you need maintenance. So what's the process like for a new patient that we have not seen before?
Great question. So whenever a patient comes in, again, we take a full health history on them. So not just what they're coming in for, but anything else in the past that they may have gone through. We see how that's playing into their current condition. And we talk about it, and we give you space to talk about your experiences and what you're going through. And with that, we talk about where you want to go, right? So how can we get you to those end goals? We take a look at any imaging that you've had done. If we need new imaging, we will send you out for that. Take a look at that with you and go over that with you. I can't tell you how many times I've had patients where they've had imaging elsewhere and no one ever talked about the results with them or explained what it meant. So we're going to do that here for you. We also can incorporate blood work through our partnership with Avexia. So if we need to check in with things, we'll make sure we get that full panel for you. Again, we'll go over that with you. And often our initial treatments also include treatment on the first day, right? So we're going to get started right away. We're going to hit the ground running. We're going to be very dynamic with that. Again, addressing that muscle work, not just the adjusting. It's very powerful, but we want to make sure that we're strengthening those muscles up so that they can hold those adjustments. We want to make sure that we're giving you nutritional support so that the cells have what they need to heal and recover. We're going to go over everything that you need to and give you all the tools that you feel confident in your treatment plan.
Give us an example and explain a little bit why, I came in to see you, right? My neck hurts. Obviously, it's my neck, but you start working on my shoulders or my scapula. Can you explain a little bit about these, doctors call them the muscle referral points? So elaborate a little more on that, because I think most people think it's their joint. My shoulder hurts.
Yes.
But those muscles are guarding and all these things going on. Explain a little more about that, because I think people just think, oh, it's my shoulder hurts. Why would the muscles be involved?
Of course. So the muscles, they kind of tell us what's going on in the body, and they really show us what you're feeling and what you're going through. So we want to make sure we're addressing that. Whenever we have injuries in the body goes in protection mode. So the areas surrounding the area or the injury are going to want to help out, right? But that's taxing on them, so they get hurt as well. They need a little bit to recover. Is that the muscle
guarding that word?
Yes.
Okay.
We also do, like through our trigger point therapy, we can address those connections to the muscles and the body on the inside. Everything that we do is based in the fascia, which is a specialized connective tissue that surrounds each of the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons. And they know that through fascia, all the muscles, even from the bottom of our feet, are connected to the top of our head. It's very highly innervated, so there's a lot of nerve endings in the fascia, and that's how the body communicates with each other, all those areas, right? So whenever, again, we have that injury, all the areas around through the fascia are communicating to help out. So we want to make sure that we're addressing those to calm them down and promote that healing.
Yeah, I was fascinated when I first learned about the muscle referral points, right? And the first really experience I had was when my son, Zach, who's now 31, he was playing Little League Baseball. And it was one of those weekends they had a tournament where if they win, they keep playing. And I think by the end of the weekend, they had 7 games they played. And he was kind of limping after. And one of the parents says, oh, is his heel hurt? He says, yeah. They go, oh, Joey had to have surgery on his foot. I said, no. I said, I'm going to take him to Dr. Weiner in the South Side. So this is way back when, so over 20 years ago. So we brought him in, and he immediately lied him down. He was hitting some points on his calf, and you could tell they were tender. So he called, he adjusted his foot. He called Adam in and did the muscle therapy on the foot and the calf, and he explained that when these muscles get tight, they shorten. So what you're feeling is pain in the heel. However, it's due to the muscle getting shorter as it gets tight. One treatment of doing the trigger point, myofascial release, he got up, he says, how does it feel? Great. And that was it.
It's profound.
And sometimes it could be that extreme, the results people get in just one visit.
It's wonderful. That's also why, again, I love to include that in all of my work, because we want to make sure we're addressing each component of the injury. That's how we get results faster, right? So we're not signing you up for those 30 treatments or however much. We get right to the problem, figure that out, and we can work on that.
Yeah, and I know we talked a lot about nutrition and muscle therapy and chiropractic, but one of your specialties is really female health. So can you talk a little bit about that? Well, I got a few minutes left because, I got 2 daughters, right? Mom, of course, rest in peace. But, I feel that's probably an area that we could really help a lot more people. I see girls going through puberty younger and younger, being on birth control younger and younger as a way to help modify and manage your cycles. Like some really extreme examples of what these young ladies are going through. So what are some of the things that you work with females on?
Thank you. It's something I'm very passionate about and something that always drove me through school. I know with my personal experiences in healthcare, and as I would assume every woman in the room here could attribute, it's challenging, right? We often don't get the care that we need. We don't often feel heard or listened to. Our things aren't as studied, so they're labeled as difficult, different, so they don't want to deal with them or take the time, and that's absolutely not the case. So that's always why I want to make sure that my female patients feel seen and heard. We always talk about different things with them, so we're going to look at their specific nutritional needs and how that might change throughout their cycle, right? We do need different things at different times. Men have about a 24-hour hormone cycle. Women, we have that 28
24 hours?
days. Yes.
Oh, so we're always dealing with hormones, 24 hours
That's
a day.
it.
And a woman's over 28 days.
Over 28 days. So a lot of different fluctuations, right? So we have different sleep needs during those times, different nutritional needs, different activity levels. So those are things that we talk about. How can we help support you? And that's really important, especially the female athletes when we're recovering. What are good days to kind of push and do a little bit more, or days that we need to step back and rest? So we're talking about that. We also, if we're having some challenges, we're going to look at blood work, right? We're going to do hormone panels to see what's going on. Where are those gaps? Where are things high? Where are they low? can we help get you supported nutritionally with that, to help give your body the nutrients it needs to balance out those hormones better, right? We do a lot of that, again, with the Avexia and the blood work, but then we pin that together with the Oligo scan to get a longer-term picture of their nutrient deficiencies and how we can help with that.
So you do all the evaluation, the blood work, the testing, and then you customize in a program for them?
Yes.
What are probably the top two things that you see the most from female patients or young ladies coming in?
Probably irregularities with their cycle, and challenges in either that they don't want to go on medication for that because of the side effects. So how can we support that more naturally? But also just pain during those times, right? It's very common to have more musculoskeletal pain. And just because it's common or we're used to it doesn't mean we have to deal with it too. So can we work during those times to help your body recover and you feel better too?
Yeah, one of the things I was learned a lot from working all the different offices over the years from all the female staff was magnesium, like Mag Complete. The protocol they taught me about was 4 a day,
Okay.
and then a week before the cycle, take it up to 6, and the week of the cycle, go as high as 8. And they said dramatic changes in their cycle. So the cramping, the pain, all the mood, all those different things dramatically improves just by using the magnesium supplement. Now we work with Dr. Verdial. She's a brand ambassador for Nutritional Frontiers. She's actually an MD, OBGYN, a naturopath, and a fertility specialist. And she come up with a couple formulas, in particular, the Woman's Complete.
My other favorite. So.
Oh, let's hear about it.
That is, if you're, again, one of my patients, we're going to put you on that too. We all have different nutrient needs, right? And we're just not getting enough from food. So this specifically is geared towards women. So it's the best multivitamin that I know for women to help, again, support the cycle, regulate everything, just help you feel better. But that's kind of our game plan, right? That's number one, and we're going to anchor anything else that you specifically need to that Women's Complete.
All right, full transparency, no one's listening, right? I take the Woman's Complete. I cover
That's
up
how
the
you know it
woe.
works,
I cover
right?
up the woe, so it says Men's Complete. Yeah.
It's there.
I love it because it has a lactospore, which is a spore-forming probiotic. It's a PRT, and I love the combination of nutrients in it. So I've taken it. I feel great when I take it, so I keep taking it.
And that's I would say that's the proof in the pudding,
And
right
my
there.
PMS
right?
has been fantastic. So
Hey,
there
we
you
all
go.
want that. If it's
Always
good enough
gotta
for
have
Jamie,
fun.
right? It's good enough for everybody.
We also have the Men's Complete, but we had the Women's Complete first. I felt great taking it, and I really think the unique combination of the active vitamins, the tracked covalent bonded minerals, the superfoods, the DMG, and the lactospore all in one. The only thing you need to take with the Women's Complete would be the omega-3D, which you talked about earlier.
That's it.
You have all your nutrients there, and then your ultimate shake, you're good to go.
to go.
So, any parting shots for all your fans out there? Anything you want them to know?
Just come into the world of wellness. I'm happy to work with anybody. As I said, I became a chiropractor because I wanted to help as many people as I could. Going back to that first experience, one thing that always stuck with me is I remember sitting in the waiting room and I saw so many different people, right? Different ages, different backgrounds. Like everybody was there for something different, and it amazed me that one person could help so many people. And so I just want to continue that work and be able to give back to all the people that have given to me. Again, we have a lot of great tools here, and we'll do what we can to help you.
Well, we appreciate all your time. You're a blessing to the Wellness Center and the community. We're really excited. Dr. Molly is a rising superstar in the world of natural healing and wellness, and we're so fortunate to have you on the team. And are you accepting new patients?
Yes, there's always a spot for you here at WOW.
All right, all
Please
you need to do is come on down. You can call the office at 412-922-WELL, 412-922-9355. If you'd like to come down today, we're here to what, 9 p.m.? 9? Lauren is listening. I got her attention. I believe we're here to 3 or 4 p.m. today. 4? Okay. So half day today on the Saturday. But no, seriously, come on down. You may be able to sneak in to see Dr. Molly. And we at least here can address some of your questions. We have free testing today, food, samples, shakes. We even have the treats. We have the peanut butter treats and the Rice Krispie treats. So come on down, folks. Everything is, of course, on sale, and we're here to help you out. So thank you, Dr. Molly. Thanks for
Thank you,
everybody here
Jamie.
supporting. Let's have a great holiday season.